Tonight on First at 9 this Saturday the 6th of September 2025. Solar power boost. President pledges to release the required funds for the newly launched Rividanavi Solar Power Park initiative in Siyabalandua in a timely and efficient manner. Drug crackdown. Former SLPP Pradeshiya Sabha member arrested in connection with the Middeniya drug bust. Opposition questions whether the chemicals used for illicit drug production were transported in the containers released without inspection. Firm response. Sri Lanka responds to the advanced version of the UN Human Rights High Commissioner's report outlining domestic reforms and calling for factual corrections ahead of the upcoming UN HRC session. Spike in shootings. One person killed and two injured in 4 shooting incidents during the past 24 hours, which police say is the most shootings reported within a 24-hour period. MP Dilip Dravida says daily shootings are evidence of the government's failings, while opposition leader Sajith Premadasa warns that violence threatens citizens' constitutional right to life.
Kalin baby soap rupiyal 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9, Sri Lanka's most trusted news source. I'm Tatya Ranayake, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story. As a step towards achieving the target of fulfilling 70% of the country's electricity demand from renewable energy by 2030, the construction work on the Siyabalandua Rividanavi Solar Power Park, Sri Lanka's largest renewable energy project, commenced this morning. President Anura Dissanayake pledged to release the required funds for the initiative in a timely and an efficient manner. The construction of the Siyabalandua Rividanavi Solar Power Park, Sri Lanka's largest renewable energy initiative, officially commenced today under the patronage of President Anura Dissanayake. This landmark project is a key step towards the country's strategic goal of sourcing 70% of its national electricity requirements from renewable energy by the year 2030. With an investment of $140 million, the solar park will contribute 100 megawatts of clean energy to the national grid. Subsequently, President Dissanayake also chaired the District Special Coordination Committee meeting at the Mononagala District Secretariat.
The continued postponement of this project will inevitably delay the achievements of its intended outcomes. We must also recognize that further delays may result in costs exceeding our original projections. It will also take time to obtain profits from the invested funds. It is therefore imperative that the project be completed within the scheduled time frame. While many have cited the economic crisis as a factor in the project's delay, such obstacles can no longer serve as justification. The Treasury has assured that funding for this initiative will be disbursed without delay. In fact, we frequently urge the project's immediate commencement as the Treasury is able to release funds in a timely and efficient manner. We are in a position to provide the necessary financial support within 1 week of receiving a formal request.
රුපියල් 8900ක මාසික වාරිකයකට brand new TVS XL 100 යතුරු පැදියක් ගන්න.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that despite the incumbent government's assurances on national security, violence continues to persist in the country, threatening the citizens' right to life guaranteed by the constitution. The opposition leader made these remarks while delivering a special statement today.
The culture of island-wide shooting and murders committed by unknown assailants is rapidly spreading. As a result, the lives of citizens have become increasingly unsafe. In particular, many individuals in media and social media activists are facing serious threats to their safety. The incumbent government once assured the public that it would educate the citizens on national security if necessary. However, despite such assurances, this culture of violence has continued to grow daily from city to city under the government's watch. In this context, these persistent threats can be viewed as a violation of the fundamental rights to life in the country's constitution. The government must take immediate action to put an end to this situation.
Leader of Sarvajanapalaya parliamentarian Dilip Jayavira asserts that the shooting incidents that are reported from across the country every day are evidence of the damage the incumbent government has caused to the country's cultural values. He made these claims during an event in Muskelia, Nuwara.
The Sarvajana Sabha of the Muskelia division of Nuwara was established today under the patronage of Sarvajanapalaya leader, parliamentarian Dilip Jayavira.
The government continues to complain about a 76-year curse. For more than 50 years of that history, they spread negative ideologies within society that has caused a massive damage to the country. The politicians who wish to remove history truly intend to remove the core values of our culture and civility. The damage they have caused to the culture in less than a year is clearly displayed through the shooting incidents that took place in Panadura, Panchgawatha, Negambo and Grand Pass. What has this country become? How did this situation occur? How did they erase our cultural values within such a short period of time? That was done by spreading hatred and anger within society. Within the past few months, we have heard of a shooting of the day almost every day. 1 or 2 shootings were carried out on a daily basis.
Meanwhile, the Sarvajana Sabha of the Kothmale division of Nuwara was established this evening under the patronage of Sarvajanapalaya leader, parliamentarian Dilip Jayavira.
With the next session of the United Nations Human Rights Council around the corner, Sri Lanka's permanent mission in Geneva has submitted its response to the advanced version of the High Commissioner's report outlining domestic reforms and calling for factual corrections. In its submission, the Sri Lankan mission underscored that the government has not accepted Resolution 57/1 adopted by the Human Rights Council, which formed the basis for the preparation of the High Commissioner's report.
The 60th regular session of the United Nations Human Rights Council is scheduled to take place from the 8th of September to the 8th of October 2025 in Geneva, Switzerland. The session will cover key topics such as the role of youth, rights of indigenous people, and eliminating violence. The session also provides an opportunity to address human rights situations in specific countries including Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Sudan, Palestine, and Syria. Against this backdrop, the permanent mission of Sri Lanka to the United Nations office officially responded to the advanced version of the comprehensive report of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights on the situation of human rights in Sri Lanka. The mission asserts that Sri Lanka did not accept Resolution 57/1, which inter alia extended the mandate of the Sri Lanka Accountability Project. Furthermore, it states that Sri Lanka has continuously objected to the Sri Lanka Accountability Project as it constitutes an external initiative that is counterproductive to the ongoing domestic reconciliation process. The statement reiterates Sri Lanka's commitment to maintaining close ties with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and the Human Rights Council's permanent mechanisms. Accordingly, the mission requested that the final version of the report of the High Commissioner be presented in the interest of placing an accurate and balanced account of the situation in Sri Lanka. The permanent mission in Geneva also outlined a wide range of measures taken by the government to advance reconciliation, strengthen domestic institutions, and promote good governance, while also drawing attention to several factual corrections and clarifications it said were necessary for an accurate assessment of the country's human rights situation. Meanwhile, Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa commented on the upcoming session of the UN Human Rights Council.
We expect that the measures implemented by President Anuro Dissanayaka's government to establish democracy, protect human rights and validate the freedom of the people since last September will be appreciated internationally because of our honest efforts. A clear picture of the actions taken by the government to protect human rights of the people can be obtained by referring to any document, report and observation. However, we will have to answer to issues caused by previous governments as well. I believe that the global community will have a positive evaluation and certification regarding the human rights situation, democracy and the freedom of the people in Sri Lanka.
ජාත්‍යන්තරවාදය පිළිබඳව ජනතාවගේ නිදහස පිළිබඳව ජාත්‍යන්තරයට හොඳ ඇගයීමක් සහතිකයක් තිබේවි.
හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න. ළඟම බාන්ස් එකට යන්න.
Welcome back to First at 9. Now taking you to more local news. Police apprehended former SLPP Pradesh Sabha member P.L. Manamperi today in connection with the discovery of 50,000 kilograms of chemicals suspected to be used in the production of crystal methamphetamine from a plot of land in the Middenia area of Thalava. The investigation was carried out based on information revealed during the interrogation of notorious criminal gang member Bako Saman, who was recently apprehended in Indonesia. In a major breakthrough during an inspection of a plot of land in the Middenia area of Thalava, officers from the Western North Crime Division yesterday uncovered a large stock of chemicals suspected to be used in the production of crystal methamphetamine. The Government Analysts Department has since collected samples from the scene for further examination. This location was revealed during the interrogation of notorious criminal gang member Bako Saman, who was recently apprehended in Indonesia. In connection with the bust, former Agunakola Palasa Pradesh Sabha member P.L. Manamperi, affiliated with the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, was taken into custody in the same area. During interrogation, the suspect claimed ignorance, stating that he is unaware of the situation. Police suspect that the chemicals were smuggled into the country with the intention of manufacturing the methamphetamine, distributing a portion locally and exporting the remainder overseas. According to police sources, the container carrying the chemicals was released from port around January 27th. The notorious criminal figures Bako Saman, Kehel Badara Padme and Kudu Nilanga are suspected to be behind the importation. Investigators are also attempting to locate Sampath Manamperi, an SLPP candidate in the local government elections, who is currently missing and is believed to be connected to the operation. The investigation is ongoing under the leadership of ASP Rohan Olugala and Officer in Charge Linton Silva. At a press conference in Colombo today, Samagi Janabalawega MP Chaminda Vijayasiri raised suspicions regarding the container involved in the Middenia chemical haul, suggesting it may be one of the containers released by customs without proper inspection.
There were reports that certain containers carrying chemicals used in the production of the drug ice have entered the country. We are deeply concerned whether these containers are connected to the ones previously released by the customs under suspicious and unlawful circumstances, which sparked significant public outcry. There was a massive public outcry over the unlawful release of 323 containers. However, these containers were not among them. The 323 containers were subjected to a thorough inspection by the CID at the time. There is no connection between the two containers and those released unlawfully.
In the
meantime, during a public meeting in Homagama, Deputy Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Sunil Watagala said that the true political masterminds behind drug trafficking are now being exposed.
මේ container දෙකේ අයිතිකාරුවත් එක්ක හිටපු දේශපාලන මහත්තුරු.
These are the politicians who supported the owners of the two containers. These are the masterminds behind the narcotic network of the country. We will launch investigations into these matters regardless of positions. A thorough investigation will be conducted in this regard. Through that, we'll uncover the true masterminds behind this network.
එලිදරව් වෙයි මේ බිස්නස් එක පිටිපස්සේ හිටියේ කවුද කියලා.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa responded to the public security minister's claims this evening.
සුනිල් වටගල මහත්තයාගේ ප්‍රකාශය සම්බන්ධයෙන් මම කනගාටු වෙනවා.
I was genuinely disheartened by the recent remarks made by Minister Sunil Watagala, especially considering his background as a well-educated individual. At this point, it is crucial for the public to know whether the government or law enforcement authorities had prior knowledge of these containers entering the country. This issue comes to light alongside renewed concerns over the unlawful release of 323 containers, which has already sparked widespread controversy. Furthermore, the report issued by the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance reveals that additional containers were released by customs beyond the already contentious 323. This raises a fundamental question: how were these two particular containers allowed to be released? We urge the government to initiate an independent and unbiased investigation into this matter without attempting to use it as a political tool against other parties. Additionally, we seek clarity regarding the actions taken against Ibrahim, who was allegedly involved in the Easter Sunday attacks. Has there been any concrete response either from the government or from the relevant political party?
පක්ෂයක් විතර JVP ගත්තු ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය මොකක්ද?
In an official statement, the SLPP announced the suspension of Sampath Manamperi's party membership pending investigation. The SLPP assured the public that it is committed to uncovering the full truth behind the serious allegations and taking decisive action. 4 shooting incidents were reported across the country during the past 24 hours, leaving 1 person dead and 2 injured, which police say is the highest number of shootings reported within a 24-hour period. So far in 2025, 97 shootings have been reported, resulting in 50 fatalities and 55 injuries.
At around 11:45 p.m. yesterday, a shooting took place near the Mahavatta clock tower in the Grand Pass area, which claimed a life. The police stated that the shooting was carried out by 2 individuals who arrived on a motorcycle and later fled the scene. Police further stated that a revolver was used for the shooting and that the shooting occurred after the victim received a phone call directing him to arrive at the location. As police launched a search operation, a person suspected of having supplied the firearm used in the murder was arrested at the scene. The victim succumbed to his injuries after hospitalization and was later identified as a 27-year-old resident of Kotahena. Police suspect that the murder was a result of a narcotic-related dispute. Another shooting incident took place early today at around 1:45 a.m. in Panchikavatta Maradana, where 1 person was injured. 2 individuals who arrived on a motorcycle had conducted the shooting, which was captured on a nearby CCTV camera. The injured person was immediately admitted to Colombo National Hospital and is receiving treatment in the ICU. The victim was identified as a 44-year-old resident of Panchikavatta. The fleeing motorcyclist who aided the shooting was arrested by the police in the Blue Mantle area. The police said the suspect was a defendant in a case regarding a 2023 incident in which he, along with 8 others, is accused of attacking an individual with sharp weapons. It was further revealed that the injured person was a close associate of an organized criminal named Panchikavatta Neville and that the shooting was carried out by an associate of an organized criminal named Keselwatta Kavi. Further investigations are currently underway into the 2 incidents to determine if there is a connection. In the meantime, 2 individuals who arrived on a motorcycle opened fire on a house in the Kuttidua area in Negombo at 1:30 a.m. this morning. However, no injuries were reported from the incident. Police stated that a 9mm firearm was used for the shooting and that the assailants had fled the scene. Police suspect that the shooting might have been carried out over a personal dispute. Meanwhile, 2 individuals on a motorcycle opened fire at a shop in Alubomula Panadura at around 9:45 a.m. this morning. The boutique is reportedly owned by a family member of Pradeep Nishanta Apuhami, an organized criminal and a large-scale drug trafficker. The assailants had delivered a letter to the shop owner prior to the shooting containing the initials KP. Accordingly, the police suspect that this act was carried out by Kanjipani Imran to take revenge on Kudu Salindu. The police also stated that Pradeep Nishanta Apuhami, alias Gatta, is a close associate of Kudu Salindu who was involved in drug trafficking in 2018 and has now fled abroad. During the last 20 hours, 4 shootings have occurred in 4 different locations across the country. The police stated that this is the highest number of shootings carried out by organized crime gangs in the country within the span of 24 hours. So far in 2025, 97 shootings have been reported, resulting in 50 fatalities and 55 injuries.
Incidents are being reported and investigations are being carried out successfully. Based on ongoing investigations, we have developed plans. Once these plans are implemented, such incidents will gradually decrease and we will achieve success. The law will be enforced strictly.
The remains of 10 victims of the unfortunate bus accident which took place on the Allabalawaya main road were brought to Tangol yesterday, where final rites were performed. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya paid her final respects to the victims this morning.
On the 4th of September, a bus carrying 32 passengers collided head-on with an SUV and veered off the Allabalawaya main road and toppled down a slope of approximately 500 meters. The tragic accident led to the death of 15 passengers, while 19 sustained severe injuries. It was later revealed that the bus had been carrying employees of the Tangol Municipal Council who had been on an excursion. Post-mortem examinations were performed and the remains of the deceased were brought to Tangol last night. Thereafter, remains of 10 victims, including the driver of the bus and a 14-year-old child, were brought to the Tangol Town Hall where final rites were performed. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and residents of the area paid their final respects to the deceased. Meanwhile, commenting on the situation of the injured, Dr. Palitha Rajapaksa of the Emergency Treatment Unit of the Badulla Teaching Hospital noted that all 19 individuals are in stable condition. Against this backdrop, the bus involved in the accident was lifted off the precipice and brought to the Alla police station. Deputy Minister of Transport and Highways, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, noted that the bus had been deregistered from the National Transport Commission in 2023. He added that there are no regulations covering buses used for trips as yet.
4 female officers have been promoted to the rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police simultaneously for the first time in the history of Sri Lanka Police. The relevant promotions were approved by the National Police Commission and subsequently confirmed by Inspector General of Police Priyantha Veerasurya and are effective from January 1st this year. Accordingly, Darshika Kumari, Padmini Veerasurya, Renuka Jayasundara and Nishani Senaviratne are scheduled for promotion. 3 of the newly appointed DIGs entered the Sri Lanka Police Service in 1997 as trainee sub-inspectors. Darshika Kumari currently serves as the commanding officer of the Police Field Force Headquarters and is recognized as the first female officer to hold that position. Padmini Veerasurya is the acting DIG in charge of the Kalutara district at present, becoming the first female officer in Sri Lanka Police history to oversee a district. SSP Renuka Jayasundara serves as the acting DIG of the Bureau for the Investigation of Abuse of Children and Women. Nishani Senaviratne, the senior most officer among the 4, serves as acting DIG of the Research and Information Technology range, having also served extensively with the State Intelligence Service. Now taking you to business news, the US labor market weakened in August with the unemployment rate rising to 4.3%, its highest level in nearly 4 years. Youth unemployment also climbed sharply to 10.5%. Meanwhile, US stocks ended slightly lower at the end of the week as investors weighed economic worries against optimism over interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve after the shocking August job report.
US job growth weakened sharply in August and the unemployment rate increased to a nearly 4-year high of 4.3%, confirming that labor market conditions were softening and sealing the case for a Federal Reserve interest rate cut later this month. The Labor Department's closely watched employment report also showed the economy lost jobs in June for the first time in 4.5 years, fanning fears of economic stagnation. Job growth has slowed since April, with economists blaming President Donald Trump's policies, mainly tariffs on imports, and immigration crackdown and mass firings of public workers. The Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics said that non-farm payrolls increased by only 22,000 jobs last month after rising by an upwardly revised 79,000 in July. Several global economists had forecast payrolls would rise by 75,000 jobs after a previously reported gain of 73,000 in July. Youth unemployment in the US has risen sharply, with the jobless rate for 16 to 24-year-olds reaching 10.5% in August and the highest in nearly 4 years and more than double the national average. High school graduates aged 20 to 24 without college experience face an even higher rate of 10.8%, up from 8.8% in July, highlighting limited job opportunities for younger workers. Meanwhile, the US stock market suffered a sharp reversal Friday after the shocking August jobs report. US stocks that opened strong quickly lost ground as investors questioned whether the Federal Reserve's expected rate cuts would be enough to cushion a rapidly slowing economy.
That's all for tonight from Fest at 9. For the latest developments around the clock, stay in touch with Ada Derana, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.